supply chain crisis. Now, Madam Speaker, Gary Gensler, the chairman, argues that this proposal is the right thing to do. We argue it's not, and it shouldn't be implemented, and we shouldn't spend any money there to do it. Let me tell you what NASDAQ, the National Association of Security Dealers, the market system for the growth companies of our country, wrote Gary Gensler and said, now these people are not anti-climate. They're not climate deniers. They run the NASDAQ marketplace. They wrote, the proposal creates additional disclosure obligations disclosure obligations outside existing frameworks. The proposal timeline is unreasonable. The prescriptive disclosures are too costly. The commission itself says this will triple the cost to be a public company. Huh? Triple the cost to be a public company? We don't have enough public companies as there are. The materiality standard deviates from the law. The prescriptive disclosures do not facilitate meaningful comparisons. The prescriptive disclosures create disincentives for companies. And they say Scope 3 greenhouse gas emissions disclosure could harm small private suppliers. And finally, they say the proposal's timing and scope could harm the initial public offering market. This is an economy that has half the public companies we had in 1980, and this administration and their SEC want to make that even worse, more costly. Let me remind you, the commission itself, triple the cost to be a public company. Madam Speaker, we have people that are private companies now because they cannot afford to be public. And if we don't have public companies, we don't have investments in labor union pension plans. We don't have opportunities for investment in our 401k plans. We hurt this economy. We hurt job creators if this proposal is implemented. So it's very easy for me to stand here and argue against it. Finally, I would say that this is part of a longstanding practice of this administration to use every tool they have in the regulatory space to do something that is the prerogative, as my good friend from Pennsylvania said, Congress.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to yield 2 additional minutes to my good friend from Arkansas.
The gentleman's recognized.
I thank my friend from Pennsylvania. I want to reiterate this point, that this is the responsibility of Congress if we're going to set environment, energy, regulatory policy. It's not the purpose of our independent regulatory commissions. And aren't we clear now that the Supreme Court agrees with that position when just in the last few days they ruled in a case called West Virginia versus EPA, which basically says, hey, independent regulatory agencies, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Listen to what Congress has written in the statute. And Congress has not written this in a statute, which is why the SEC is way out of line with this proposal. While the NASDAQ market system rejects it, while small business rejects it, while public company CEOs reject it, while the Farm Bureau rejects it. And as I say, this administration came to power with an idea that this was their number one issue, and you can tell it because the people who worked on the task force to propose this rule are the chief of staff at the Treasury Department, the head of the National Economic Council and the White House staff, all came to Congress with an idea to propose this rule. So I urge my colleagues to support Republicans' efforts to not see this rule implemented, not fund it. And I thank my friend from Pennsylvania, and yield back the balance of my time.
Reserve.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Look, let me just say that I think, as everybody knows, Democrats are focused on inflation. Tackling inflation is certainly our top priority. And let's take a look at the facts. We passed the Lower Food and Fuel Cost Act to bring down costs for families, and almost every Republican voted no. We passed the Consumer Fuel Price Gouging Prevention Act, but not a single Republican voted with us. What's the Republican solution on inflation? Who the hell knows? They haven't offered any policy ideas. They seem content cheering for President Biden to fail and for inflation to go up. In fact, Leader McConnell is holding hostage a bill to make more to lower costs for families and to deal with the issue of prescription drugs. The only plan I've seen from the GOP is from Senator Rick Scott, Republican, which would raise taxes on the middle class and raise taxes on the middle class. and put Social Security and Medicare on the chopping block. That's the same old from my friends on the other side. I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an MSNBC opinion article entitled, "The GOP Keeps Slamming Biden Over Inflation, but It Has No Solutions to Offer."
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, since my friends want to change the subject, let's change the subject. Republicans right now, as we are meeting here over in the Senate, are trying to kill the PACT Act, a bill to guarantee health care to veterans with service-related cancers. This is a bill that passed the Senate originally 84-14, and it passed the House with a majority vote of 342. Many of my Republican colleagues supported that. Appreciate that. But now Republicans are trying to kill it, playing politics with it over in the Senate. They are putting politics ahead of people, when in fact we should be putting people ahead of politics. So while we're here having this conversation, I would urge my Republican friends to pick up the phone and call your counterparts in the Senate and say, get out of the way and do what's right for our veterans. My office is getting calls from veterans who were exposed to burn pits when they were overseas. I'm sure my Republican friends are getting calls in their offices. I mean, you don't have to agree on everything, to agree on something. I thought we all agreed on this. Can we please tell Mitch McConnell and tell the Republicans to get out of the way and allow this bill to go forward? I mean, that might be a good use of time right now while we're having this conversation. With that, I reserve my time.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to yield 3 minutes to my good friend, a member of the Financial Services Committee, Mr. Huizinga of Michigan.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, and I appreciate the gentleman yielding time and leadership on this. And Madam Speaker, every day the capital markets are under attack here with this Securities and Exchange Commission. The climate disclosure rule, which was released in March of this year, totals over 500 pages, and had over 1,000 technical footnotes.
Good morning, people.
And oh, by the way,
Wolverines,
the SEC initially
people of
gave
the
everybody
internet
30 days to
interwebs.
comment on that. 30 days.
There, we'll get back to debating this.
Now,
They just brought this up, but they were debating
analysis of the original
rule
500
change
pages, much
for
less
the
the
follow-up
1,000 technical footnotes on that within that 30 days. But
going
in
to
reality, the SEC doesn't really
They're-
know what this far-reaching rule will cost small, independent, non-public business.
All right, I'm just gonna mute that for 1 second because they're talking about like infrastructure bills and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully, Jordan, you are right. But they right now you can't hear because he's not even talking about any type of stuff like that affects guns. But this is what they're going to do. They're trying to change the rules to allow a House floor vote. And they're trying to expedite the debate so they can vote today. Because according to the rules, they can't. And they're about to go away on their break. They have a long vacation. And they're going to go back to the districts after today, and they want to vote on it today before they leave Washington. That's why there is a huge push by the Democrats to change the rules to allow them to to allow them to vote today instead of having to wait until they get back in August. That is basically it. Republicans are going to start bringing up like it would still need to pass the Senate as well. There's no companion bill in the Senate, which if there's not a companion bill in the Senate, usually means, and I say usually because you never know what's going to happen in Washington, right? Usually means that it's not going to have enough votes in Washington to pass. But who knows? Weirder things have happened. So let's go ahead. We'll go back in a second he is not going to talk about the assault weapons ban. He's going to try to bring this to different like infrastructure and everything else. It's basically a stalling technique. All right, I'll turn back up the volume now. Trying to educate you guys on how Washington works.
So the SEC is going to continue to push the boundaries of the statutory authority Congress has given them. And unfortunately, instead of investors maintaining fair, orderly, and efficient markets and facilitating capital formation, that's part of their three-part directive.
Oh, this is
Facilitating
kind of interesting.
capital formation. They are actually going to regulate small, privately held companies in your district right out of business.
Why is there no sound?
So Congress did not establish the SEC to set climate policy, nor to be the final arbiter of business strategies to combat climate change. And in her recent over the proposed rule, Commissioner Hess rightfully noted, quote,
all right, let me refresh this. I'm going to refresh it really quick.
C-SPAN, more relevant than ever.
Some recent Supreme Court cases about that with the EPA. And the proposed climate rule shifts the SEC's rulemaking authority.
Let me know if you guys can hear anything. It sounds good there.
A novel
what the hell?
approach
Can you hear
to
me?
climate policy. What's next? All of it. Because frankly, that's what is on his agenda.
Well, you guys can hear it.
They want all of it.
Hear it.
Their idea of how this economy
Can you guys hear me?
Not how to protect investors, not how to facilitate efficient markets, and certainly not how to build capital. That is not the job of the SEC.
All right, I got it.
That has been proposed here. So I urge my colleagues to support Mr. Hill's resolution and restore sanity to the rulemaking process. With that, I yield back.
Reserve.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, let me just say, I really enjoyed listening to my friends on the other side of the aisle. They're opposed to this rule because the process will expedite progress on behalf of the American people. And yet they're not outraged over using process to block progress for the American people. And again, I didn't hear anything about, since we're changing the subject,
talking about the filibuster,
the veterans who right now are desperately pleading with Republicans in the Senate to pass the PACT Act. The gentleman even got extra time and didn't mention that at all. And again, I would urge my Republicans, as we are still here today, before you leave, call Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, call your Republican counterparts in the Senate and say, please pass the PACT Act. Please do that now. Our veterans who are suffering from cancer as a result of their service, being exposed to burn pits, are desperately pleading with my Republican friends to stop blocking it. That's what you want to be outraged about something today? Be outraged about that. Again, I would urge that they do something. Many of my colleagues on the Republican side supported the PACT Act when it came before the House. A majority of Republicans in the Senate voted to support it, but now they're putting politics ahead of people. It should be reversed. Put people ahead of politics. I reserve my time.
I'd like to remind members to direct their comments to the chair and not to each other. The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want the record to reflect that I'm not outraged about this rule. I just was simply at the beginning of my remarks, my opening statement, pointing out the hypocrisy from my friends across the other side of the aisle who have this selective outrage when we waive the 24-hour requirement, but it's okay when they do it. So, and again, I'm almost gleefully looking forward to the opportunity when we are in the majority for myself to help the then Chairman Cole of the Rules Committee do the same thing. And we'll see what kind of hypocrisy comes from the other side of the aisle and how they will then have outrage when we do it. But I'm not outraged about this. I think that if we're going to move forward today, we should defeat the previous question. That's what I'm passionate about. And that's what my friends that have spoken here today are passionate about, because they want to run a bill from my good friend from Arkansas that would actually help the economic crisis, would actually help fight inflation. So please don't confuse passion for helping the American people out of this financial problem with outrage. There's no outrage on this side of the aisle. But to explain more, I'd like to yield 3 minutes to my good friend, rising star of the Financial Services Committee, Mr. Brian Stow of Wisconsin.
The gentleman is recognized.
I thank my friend from Pennsylvania, and I rise to oppose the previous question so we can immediately consider H.R. 8589. We heard earlier our friends across the aisle say that under this rule, which they can pretty much bring up any bill they so desire, they're going to address inflation. Well, count me excited that my colleagues across the aisle are finally ready to address inflation. Inflation brought upon all Americans by the reckless policies
stalling technique
of Democratic one-party control.
Which is good.
Reckless policies of starting this administration by spending $1.9 trillion. Reckless policies by refusing to unleash American energy.
You guys can hear double.
And Americans are paying the price for the reckless policies of Democrats here in Washington. It's early in the morning. People are making their way here up to the House floor, following a great victory by my Republicans in the congressional baseball game last night. 10-0, I may note. But what's really playing out across America right now is people can't afford the things that their family needs. I was speaking to a woman the other day in South Milwaukee at a gas station. And I asked her how much it costs her to now fill up her car with gas. And she looked at me and she said, Brian, I don't know.
There's a slight echo on the congressional feed.
Fill up my tank with gas. Spoke to another woman who said, Brian, I can't take my daughter out to dinner on Friday night for pizza because I can't afford it because costs keep going up. Americans are suffering from runaway inflation, from the reckless policies from one-party Democratic control. We have an open rule. The Democrats could bring up any bill today. They could bring up any bill. Americans are getting clobbered with runaway inflation, energy costs going through the roof. This woman in South Milwaukee can't afford to fill up her car with gas. And what will we see the bills brought up today? They will intend to distract, to change the subject. They want to talk about bills that already passed the House. They want to talk about bills that have nothing to do with inflation because they don't care about the woman in South Milwaukee who can't afford to fill up her car with gas. They don't care about the woman who can't afford to take her kids out to pizza on Friday night. And count me as darn surprised if we see legislation brought by the Democratic majority today that addresses the inflation crisis, that addresses the energy crisis. They're going to send everybody in this body home for the next month.
Speaker, I'll yield the gentleman an additional 3 minutes.
The gentleman is recognized.
I thank my colleague. They're going to send everybody in this institution home for more than a month with runaway inflation, interest rates going up so people can't afford to buy a house.
No problem, CG.
An energy policy that refuses to unleash American energy so that this woman in South Milwaukee can't afford to fill up her car. Republicans have answers to the challenges of the day. And I thank my colleague from Arkansas for his thoughtful bill that would be brought up if we defeat this previous question, that would actually put a check on the runaway bureaucratic process that we see. This one attacks the runaway process at the Securities and Exchange Commission that should properly be named Securities and Environmental Commission. And my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, Madam Chair, really like renaming things. So I suggest while we redefine recession, we throw in redefining the SEC today. People are getting clobbered. The bill by my colleague from Arkansas is a pretty thoughtful approach. It says, hey, instead of all this additional regulation, these costs that get passed on to consumers at the end of the day, maybe what we do is we focus on getting some economic growth back, bringing inflation down. And so count me as excited if under this rule, and again, the Democrats could bring any bill to the floor on the last day. Is that bill going to be something that substantively and meaningfully addresses inflation, addresses energy costs, or are they going to bring up another topic to distract the American people from the crisis that is playing out across our country? Count me as shocked if we see a bill that addresses inflation today. Madam Chair, I'll yield back.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
So, Madam Speaker, I don't know who that guy who was yelling is, but I would refer him to my earlier comments on all the things that we are doing to try to combat inflation and the stuff that we will be rolling out in the days ahead. But I would urge my colleagues in the Senate aisle to go over to the Senate and yell at Mitch McConnell so that we can help our veterans. I mean, it is unconscionable that as we are gathering here right now, Republicans in the Senate are blocking a bill to provide care for veterans exposed to burn pits who have cancer. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, people who are responsible for that are unfit to serve in the United States Congress, quite frankly. You want to be outraged about something? Be outraged about that right at this moment. And we also should be outraged at the alarming rate of gun violence in this country. And my hope is that this same-day rule will pave the way for the Rules Committee to meet and to bring forward a ban on assault weapons so we can save lives in this country. So that's what this is all about today. But again, with all the yelling and screaming, please go over to the other chamber and yell and scream at them. Because right now, a lot of our veterans are concerned that they will succeed in killing a bill that will provide them health care that they desperately need. And with that, I reserve.
Gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, it's quite remarkable that the gentleman now is telling us that this is about gun-related bills, because 14 hours ago, we had questions in the Rules Committee. Those questions went unasked because the minority is unsure. You know who was unsure when they were in the minority? My good friend. Let me quote him again. When the Republicans tried to waive the 24-hour requirement, my good friend said, and I quote, "Once again, we are here on the floor debating a martial law rule that also makes that also makes a suspension day. Here we are once again unsure of what we will be considering today, tonight, or tomorrow." End quote. So last night at 7 p.m., my good friend, ranking member of the Rules Committee, Mr. Cole, asked a series of questions because we wanted to get some light shed on this. He asked, what would this rule specifically be used for? The majority said they didn't know. They were unsure. He asked if this were to be related to gun-related bills and if those bills would be changed. The majority said they didn't know. We're unsure here. He asked if this authority would be used for other bills. The majority said they didn't know. He asked if the House would be in session this weekend, and also the response was the majority didn't know. So it's amazing how the majority is today so confident in what's going to be being run today through this rule, when just 14 hours ago, when we asked these questions, those answers were not provided to the minority. But here to talk more about the resolution that I'll personally offer if we defeat the previous question is my good friend from Arkansas, and I yield him 2 minutes.
The gentleman is recognized.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Listening to the other side and listening to my friend from Pennsylvania, I hear a lot about uncertainty, that we're not sure what we're here for. We're not sure what we're going to bring up on the House floor. Well, I'll tell you what, we are certain that inflation is hurting American families. We are certain that people don't know how to fill up their car, what that's going to cost, what they're going to sacrifice moving from beef to chicken, working on prescriptions this week, maybe gas next week. So we are certain the American people have inflation top concern. This bill proposed today will help attack inflation by reducing the costs that will be imposed by the Securities and Exchange Commission in this act. And I want to read, Madam Speaker, from the Task Force on Climate Financial Disclosure, the Bloomberg Commission. And it says, all these efforts must be cost-effective, reliable. They must be comparable across countries, across industries, within industries. And the proposal of the SEC does not do that.
Boss hog, man. I
So
haven't
I
seen
hope
you
that
in
we
a long
will,
time.
Be successful. in,
This is on the floor. Boss
HR
hog.
8589, which will save the government money. And if we are looking for bills to bring up, my friend from Pennsylvania, I recommend HR 7209, which is the Price Stability Act, which will focus the Federal Reserve solely on fighting inflation, not fighting climate change, not fighting socioeconomic disparities, focused on inflation, because inflation is a thief. That's what we should be on this floor debating. And I yield back to my friend.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
So, Madam Speaker, the gentleman who just spoke was yielded time again, and again didn't say anything about the veterans who are getting screwed by Senate Republicans right now in the other chamber. I mean, right now, we should take our outrage and we should demand.
I'm gonna put my
Republicans
Discord.
get out of the way. And by the way,
Anybody
to my
want to
friend
join
from
Discord?
Pennsylvania,
Go ahead.
you know, I just went back and read the transcript of what our exchange was in the Rules Committee, and I think it was pretty clear. When I'm looking at the transcript, I was asked last night, you know, why we needed this authority, and I said it was to consider public safety bills. I was further asked if we use the considered gun legislation, and I said yes, potentially. Now I don't know whether it's my Massachusetts accent or what, but I think I was pretty clear about what we were going to bring to the floor today. And again, I hope that we will follow through with what I said yesterday. So this idea that, I didn't know. And by the way, there are times, as I said at the opening, when same-day authority is, to me, necessary. There are other times when it's not. And when the Republicans were in charge and they used it for frivolous things, yeah, I objected to it. But when they used it in an attempt to try to keep government open, I favored it. So I don't know what the gentleman's about hypocrisy. I mean,
I'll
I have
regenerate the
in
link.
favor when I was in the minority, and I've been opposed to it when I'm in the minority. So it all depends on the circumstances. So I think maybe my Republican friends have trouble with nuance and trying to understand the complexities of the system here, but I'm totally comfortable with my position, past and present. And by the way, if this same-day authority means that we can bring up an assault weapons ban, I don't apologize to anybody. I don't apologize to anybody. I think it's the right thing to do, and I reserve my time.
Gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
I just want to again say, we asked a litany of questions to try to give the minority guidance on what bills would be considered today, the context of those bills, the timing of those bills, whether we'd be here this weekend. And the response constantly was either, I hope not, I'm unsure, I don't know. So here we are in the dark. But for purposes of a rebuttal, I'd like to yield my good friend from Arkansas an additional minute.
The gentleman is recognized.
Well, I think my friend from Pennsylvania, I really don't understand this debate about talking about the PAC Act. My friend from Massachusetts, it's passed the House. And let the Senate do its work. We supported it here. No, let's be serious here. I voted for the bill. The Senate's working out some concern they have. They changed the bill. They made the bill that's controversial over there. Let them figure it out. They don't even know that revenue bills originated in the House and the Senate. It was blue slips. They don't really know what they're doing over in the upper chamber. We know we have the advantage over them on that. But what we're talking about today are bills being considered today in the front of the speaker's leaving on some foreign trip tonight. So we're rushing around. We don't know why we're here today. And the people deserve to know in advance what we're voting on so we can prepare our arguments. So it's not about some bill over in the House. I mean, the Senate. It's a bill. What bills will be on the floor of the House today? I yield back.
Reserve.
The gentleman reserves, the gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Madam Speaker, the gentleman said we should let the Senate do its work. Exactly. Senate Republicans are blocking the Senate from doing its work. What do my friends not understand? Veterans with cancer are depending on Republicans to get out of the way so they can get the care that they, quite frankly, are entitled to, that they deserve. It passed overwhelmingly originally in the Senate. It passed overwhelmingly here in the House. But Senate Republicans are playing politics with the lives of our veterans. And I'm outraged by that. Maybe my friends on the other side are not. But, you know, we ought to be demanding that they move immediately. So I reserve my time.
The gentleman reserves, the gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm prepared to close, and I yield myself the balance of our time.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to quote my good friend, the chairman, again, this time from 2017, when he stated that martial law allows the majority to, and I quote, rush their bills with its brand new backroom deals to the floor today without any proper deliberation, end quote. I think that pretty much sums up perfectly what we're doing here today. I urge my colleagues to vote no on the previous question and no on the rule. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Yeah. Madam Speaker, I yield myself the balance of the time. Madam Speaker, I don't think it's appropriate for my Republican friends to lecture us on hypocrisy. The last time the Republicans were in charge of this place, they ran it into the ground.
Explain the rule.
Republicans were in charge. They broke the record for the most closed Congress in the history of the United States of America. When Republicans were in charge and our country was on the brink of a shutdown, the Rules Committee, under Republican control, held an emergency meeting. And do you know what that emergency meeting was on? Not on emergency funding, but on cheese. Actually, in the middle, as we were about to shut the government down, you know, we had a major crisis. They did an emergency meeting on cheese. They couldn't even get their act together to keep the lights on. They literally lost the majority because of how badly they ran this place. And then they handed us a shutdown of government, the longest shutdown in history, by the way. That cost American taxpayers $11 billion. And when Republicans were in charge, I voted to give them same-day authority. I stood on this floor and urged my Democratic colleagues to support their rule because I wanted to give us extra flexibility to do the work the American people had asked us to do. Republicans ran this place like a dictatorship. And then they tried to turn our country into one on January 6, 2021, a day that will live forever in history as the day that a twice impeached ex-president and Republican Party tried to unconstitutionally overturn a free and fair election and subvert the will of the American people in an attempted coup.
January
So
6th.
please
Here we
do
come.
not lecture us about democratic process or any process at all. Do not lecture us on hypocrisy. And I said last night in the Rules Committee what I hoped we would bring forward today. And I still hope we will move forward on an assault weapons ban. And you know why? Because people in this country are being massacred. And they're tired of thoughts and prayers. You know, they're tired of press releases in which we say that our hearts are with the families of those who were killed. They want action. And the question is whether or not we can deliver on what the American people want. And so you want to talk about outrage? I'm outraged by the gun violence in this country. I'm outraged that an 18-year-old who can't legally have a sip of beer can go into a gun store and buy an AR-15 and then go out and kill people and massacre people. Enough of this. Enough of this. So this rule preserves the option, if we decide to move forward, to be able to move forward. That's what this is all about. So we could talk about whatever you want to talk about, but the bottom line is that's what this rule does. And so we have an obligation to act with urgency. We have a responsibility to address this crisis. Madam Speaker, I would urge a yes vote on the rule and the previous question. I yield back the balance of my time, and I move the previous question on the resolution.
The gentleman yields back. The question is on ordering the previous question on the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The gentleman from Pennsylvania?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On that, I'd request the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. Pursuant to Clause 9 of Rule 20, the chair will reduce to 5 minutes the minimum time for any electronic vote on the question of adoption of the resolution. This is a 15-minute vote.
All right, guys. So this is what's going on.
The resolution pending now in the House would allow expedited debate on bills today. This is the minority party's last chance to change the resolution. There's been quite a bit of reporting in the past couple of days on the assault weapons ban and policing bill being delayed until mid-August. But it now may come up in the House today. Passing the resolution would allow that to happen.
Yes, so this resolution has to pass. If this resolution passes, that means that they would be able to debate the assault weapons ban and vote on it. Originally, you're supposed to have like 24 hours before.
Gentlewoman from Missouri, seek recognition.
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. McHenry from North Carolina, I inform the House that Mr. McHenry will vote nay on the previous question.
Basically, you're supposed to have 24 hours after the debate to vote or whatever, but they're going to expedite debate and they're going to debate and vote on it. Yeah, usually what happens is, I mean, that's not unusual. They usually don't request it until this is what happens. It doesn't matter what party, they're going to say yay or nay, and then whatever the Speaker of the House or whoever's acting as the Speaker of the House will say, I think the yeas have it, or I think the nays have it. And then whoever is the losing party usually stands up and requests like a recorded vote. Unless it's something like recognizing such and such team for winning, blah, blah, blah. And then they will, something like that, whatever. If it's something that has bipartisan support, they won't go to this to change the rules, but whatever. Yeah. All Glocks would be technically illegal under the assault weapons ban because there is a automatic version of a Glock. It says if there's an automatic version of a gun, it is banned. So there is a Glock 18, which means all Glocks are technically banned. Why isn't Nancy Pelosi being charged with insider trading? Interesting fact. Congress is immune from insider trading laws. Congress is allowed to insider trade. They're technically immune from it. They are exempt from insider trading laws. So there's nothing they can charge her with. You're allowed to insider trade if you're a member of Congress. Dark, of course it doesn't apply to you. You're allowed to have machine guns. My good friend DLD After Dark out there. We are actually streaming to his channel, like any breaking news like this that is done during the day. I will stream to his channel. This bill shouldn't come law. I think it's going to be dead once it hits the Senate because there's no companion bill. Usually, if you see a companion bill, that's when you really have to start worrying. But there's no companion bill. Yes, SP. They wrote themselves as exempt. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen. That's why you have to fight. You can't get complacent. You have to fight everything, no matter if you think it's going to die or not. Bird, they are voting to change the rules so they can basically vote on the AWB today before they leave Washington for their vacation. The SKS, it depends on what like if it's an SKS that can take a detachable magazine and you change some stuff on the SKS, like out of pistol grip or whatnot, then it would. If it's a SKS, just like the wooden stock SKS with no attachable magazine, then detachable magazine, not attachable, detachable magazine, then it would not fall under this. So it really depends. You got to remember. Yeah, but that's not a companion bill to this bill. Senate Bill 736 doesn't even have all Democrats supporting it. So the original live stream is on the C-SPAN website. All right. I'm going to stop sharing this for a second. I'm going to show you 17th, like the bill that was brought up and I'll show you. It's irrelevant what they do here because it is unconstitutional, and therefore unenforceable. Okay. Thank you so much for the super chat, Jason. I really, really appreciate it. Let me go ahead. I'm going to show you why this will fail. All right. Let me see if I can zoom in here. All right. So these are the co-sponsors here for the bill that co-sponsored there. You got 37 of them, plus Dianne Feinstein, so it's 38. So you need to get like 60 people, right? Not the co-sponsor, but this is a good thing. This bill, they asked a couple people to co-sponsor that would not co-sponsor.
The House is voting now on a resolution to allow expedited debate on an assault.
For example, Joe Manchin was asked to co-sponsor and he refused to co-sponsor. And there is a bunch of other people that refused, so they don't even have the Democrats to vote on that. That's the Feinstein bill. Feinstein brings it up every session. Feinstein brings up the same bill, and it fails because that would that attacks all semis and magazines holding more than 10 rounds, which the semi-automatic ban is just so massive on that there's no way that anyone would vote for that, even evil Dems. All right, so I'm gonna bring this back up here, and we are going to wait for them to come back. Yeah, they're wasting taxpayers' money. They got about 4 minutes left. In the last few minutes, they're going to you're going to see a flood of votes coming in here. So I got a question for you guys. I was talking to Flying Rich, and there is a video of Biden going around that he saw, and he thinks it's a deep fake. I'm not sure if Cajun broiled peanuts cures cancer or not. I am pretty sure maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know enough about it. Thank you, Jones Cajun broiled peanut farm. I like peanuts. I eat a lot of peanuts, actually. See if I can find it before we go back in. But Flying Rich, check them out at Flying Rich on YouTube. But let me see if I can find the video. I don't know if I'll be able to find it or not. So I told him how to build a program to analyze the video to see if it's deep fake or not. But he has not got back to me. Probably won't be able to find the video in time. Whatever. Can't find it. All right. Well, we got 1 minute left.
Allegedly.
So Bar Prince, my friend, man, you should come on the show and talk about this stuff. Let's see. G Webs, if you want to come on G Webs, man, I would love to have you on. G Webs is the OG of gun tubers. He was one of the original gun tubers on on the tubes. All right. IG, Sabar. I mean, that's the whole entire plan is for the confiscation. Oh, time remaining. This is to begin debate on the assault weapons ban by changing the rules, and it will be an expedited debate. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to go back to the House session here.
And 11, Bordeaux, Vargas, Swalwell, and Richie Torres. I inform the House that these members will vote yes on the previous question.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Arkansas seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, I, as the member designated by Mr. Stewart of Utah, inform the House that Mr. Stewart will vote no on the previous question. And thank you for the recognition of this stellar topic.
See, now they're going to do it like where, like, other people not there that vote. And Birdman, I think he heard you. They were up last night in the Rules Committee. So, and then they had to get up early today. I know Aiden Johnston of GOA was up late last night, and he's there.
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Boyle, Mr. Rupersberger, Ms. Tran, Mr. McKeechin, Mrs. Newman, and Mr. Jones, I inform the House these members will vote yes on the previous question.
Yeah, basically, these are people that are not there. Yeah, proxy votes. Proxy votes should be illegal, and I think I 100% agree with you. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back.
The House is voting now on whether to begin debate on an assault weapons ban and policing bill today. Also on the agenda, debate and votes on a measure addressing the drought and wildfires on the West Coast. Members will also finish work on a bill banning breeding of big cats, like lions and tigers.
For what purpose
House
is
lawmakers are
gentlewoman
planning to
from New Hampshire
recess for their
seek
August
recognition?
recess
Madam
when they
Speaker,
complete
as the member
legislative business
designated
today.
by Ms. Stevens, Ms. Bustos, Mr. Blumenauer, and Mr. Ryan, I inform the House that these members will vote yes on the previous question.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Comer of Kentucky, Ms. Stefanik of New York, and Mr. Joyce of Pennsylvania, I inform you that Mr. Comer, Ms. Stefanik, and Mr. Joyce will vote no on ordering the previous question.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. McBath of Georgia, pursuant to HBS 8, I inform the House that Ms. McBath would vote yes on the previous question.
I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. G-Webs, we want the nose. We want the nose. Okay, I got a couple super chats here. Thank you, Jason. We need to hold a convention of states and reinstate all constitutional violation punishments, which can't be brought, only executed by executed as constitutional demands. We the people. Okay. Okay. We the people own the government, not vice versa. All right. I have mixed feelings about a constitutional convention. Constitutional convention opens up a big can of worms, and here's the thing that a lot of people who push for a constitutional convention don't talk about. There's no way to limit what is discussed in a constitutional convention. So if you get not constitutional convention, sorry, convention of states. So if you do get a convention of states together, I mean, they could say, hey, we want to get rid of the Second Amendment, and that's allowed.
Purpose of the gentlelady from Florida seek recognition.
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Deutsch and Chris of Florida and
Debbie
Ms. Rice of
Wasserman
New York, I
Schultz.
inform the House that these members will vote yea on ordering the previous question.
All right, Hillbilly. I absolutely agree with Jason.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Jacobs of New York, Mr. Sam Graves of Missouri, Mr. Van Drew of New Jersey, and Mr. Green of Tennessee, I inform the House that Mr. Green, Mr. Van Drew, Mr. Graves, and
What's up,
Mr.
John?
Jacobs all will vote nay on the previous question. Thank you.
Yeah, there are more conservative states,
For
but
what purpose does the gentleman from Texas
do you think
seek
those
recognition?
conservative states wouldn't trade our gun rates for something else that they want?
They will with the quickness. They got some pictures on them, or they need funding. They're gonna switch it up.
Yeah.
But you know what, John? This is really not gonna affect me at all. It might affect a lot of you guys, but I live in California. Half of this stuff is already in California.
All of it's already in California. Cruppy can't get all the love. Yeah. But seriously, all of it is in California.
It is, bro. That's what I'm telling you guys. If you guys don't understand how messed up you guys are gonna be if this thing passes, come to California. Go to New York.
On the previous question.
You'll have
Oh,
fun.
by the way, there's a huge lawsuit dropping in California next week.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen it. I think you posted about it.
No, I didn't.
Did you?
This is
No?
this is unknown, man. It's a secret.
I didn't know about this then.
For what purpose does the gentleman from South Carolina seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Byron Donalds from Florida and Joe Wilson from South Carolina, I inform the House that Mr. Wilson and Mr. Donalds will vote nay on the previous question.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Utah seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as member designated by Ms. Herrera Butler from Washington, I inform the House that Ms. Herrera Butler will vote nay on the previous question.
That's why the plants are so green, bro. Fertilizer at Maverick.
All right. I love messing with spammers.
For what purpose does the gentleman from
Scammers.
Colorado seek recognition?
Thanks, Madam Speaker. As a member designated by Ms. Diana DeGette of Colorado and Mr. Mark Desagnier of California, I inform the House that these members will vote yes on the previous question.
Yeah, it's a no vote or not voted. No vote recorded. And they can vote present too, which basically says they're not voting for it or against it, but they're there. It's like in the classroom when you say present, I'm here.
Correct, Jones. It wouldn't grow without fertilizer, guys.
So right now the nays are winning, but that's gonna change. Look at if you look at the no vote column right here.
Yeah.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
Speaker person, as a member designated by Mr. John Carter of Texas and Mr. Troy Nails of Texas and Mr. John Carter, Brian Babin, did I get him of Texas? I don't know if they get to vote twice or not. I inform the House that they will all vote no on the previous question.
Easy Shifty, thank you for the $5 super chat, buddy. And Callie, and yeah, we are living with shenanigans already. Yeehaw to the coming lawsuits.
For reals.
I mean, but at least like LA County, the cops are not really carrying any more about 30 rounds magazines. So
Yeah, because that's gonna get. I mean, dude, Bruin changed the whole landscape. I don't know if you remember when I was talking about Bruin, I said the biggest thing on Bruin, um, was the change.
yeah, I remember.
Or what was like the change to the two-step process. You know, strict and
Yeah,
intermediate scrutiny. It can only be original text and history of of the Second Amendment.
I think people are noticing in California that it's becoming like the Wild Wild West all over again. So the gun stuff is trying to change, or people are putting more work towards it. Um, I don't know. What's your opinion, Chrome?
Uh, I think the major lawsuits that's going to change. I don't know if they're going to come out of California. California, the ninth is still kind of left leaning.
Yeah.
They can't go against the Supreme Court, but it might take some time if it comes out from California.
For what purpose does a gentlewoman from New York seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Representative Mr. Jeffries of New York pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Representative Jeffries will vote yes on the motion to move the previous question on H.R. 1300.
So if you look at the bill, I mean, they have a bunch of rimfire, bolt action single shots that are banned.
Let me go check real quick. I mean, they can't. That means that a bunch of 22s would be illegal, and I can't have that because we pay like $1 for 223 over here in California. How much you pay for 223, John? Like per
Yeah.
round?
Well, I just got a bunch for like 40 cents a round.
Gentleman
Bro.
from Florida seek recognition.
We're paying $1 a
Gosar,
round.
Arizona. I'm from the House that Dr. Gosar will vote no on ordering the previous question.
Hold on. That's my lobbyist friend.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New Jersey seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Albio Series, Ms. Ann Kirkpatrick, Mr. Jerry McNerney, Ms. Pramila Jayapal, Mr. Brian Higgins, and Ms. Eddie Bernice Johnson, I inform the House that these members will vote yes on the previous question.
Indiana, I inform the House that Ms. Walorski will vote no on the previous question. Thanks.
Okay, John, I have a question. So a lot of people were posting yesterday that it wasn't gonna pass, and then you did the video saying no, and that they're gonna talk about it in the morning. Why were people saying no first, and then they changed their minds?
About what? Oh, sorry, I was on the phone with one of the lobbyists that's there.
Oh, about this not passing. So remember, a lot of people started posting that supposedly this was not gonna pass, And then
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you remember, I had a live stream on John Crump Live. You guys should check it out if you don't check it out. We're streaming
okay,
there as well. But somebody asked me, actually, I've streamed to my main channel too, and somebody's like, "Oh yeah, it's not going to pass," and I said, "That's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that it has a great chance of passing, and it's just like working out the small little details, which could be worked out by
yeah,
the end of the week." So I mean, I things always get delayed, but they're not actually delayed. It's just that they got it. It's like a place marker.
got it.
I got an
For
exclusive
what
here.
purpose does the gentleman from Virginia seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Byer of Virginia, I inform the House Mr. Byer will vote aye on the previous question.
All right, let me get back to this. So they got a bunch of bolt action rifles. That will be banned under here too. Like the Mauser 98 Sportster. Would be banned. That's one that's very interesting.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of Mausers. Mauser Model 66, Mauser Model 99.
Wow.
Bunch of Remington 700s.
That's crazy.
Remington 770 sorry, Remington 770 bolt action rifles. Ruger M77s.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Ohio seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. LaHood from Illinois, I inform the House that Mr. LaHood will vote nay on the previous question.
Bunch of single shot rifles that they're going to ban. The Henry Survival 22 will be banned. Oh, no, exempted. Sorry. I'm wrong. Reading this wrong. I'm looking for something in here.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Indiana seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Ms. Sparks of Indiana, I inform the House that Ms. Sparks will vote no on the previous question.
Hold on, my mom's calling.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Kentucky seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Guthrie from Kentucky, I inform the House that Mr. Guthrie will vote nay on the previous question.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Michigan
Sorry,
seek
guys, I'm back.
recognition?
As the
Gorillas
member
and guns.
designated by Ms. Tlaib of
How you doing?
Michigan, I inform the House that Ms. Tlaib will vote yes on the previous question.
Of course you would.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Michigan seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Rice of South Carolina, I inform the House Mr. Rice will vote nay on the previous question. As the member designated by Mr. Katko of New York, I inform the House Mr. Katko will vote nay on the previous question. As the member designated by Mr. Gonzalez of Ohio, I inform the House Mr. Gonzalez will vote nay on the previous question.
Sorry about that, Sabar.
No, it's okay, bro. It was my mic. My mic was acting up.
No, I was just correcting Pincus.
Oh, okay.
He hold my guns. I'll show you the
Yeah, go ahead. Is it that the one where you could give the guns to, right? If anything happens?
yeah, they posted if it passes they won't be able to transfer. So he said grandfather guns currently owned could be transferred. And it actually says beginning on the date that is 90 days after the date of enactment of the assault weapons ban, it should be unlawful for any person who is not licensed under this chapter to transfer a grandfathered semi-automatic assault weapon to any other person not licensed.
Okay, so they were saying that if this passes,
Yeah, they can't. They can't
whatever
take.
weapons they have, they're not gonna give them back, pretty much, right?
Yeah, they can't give them back. Then no, this is on Twitter. So
Okay.
Pincus said that that's not true. You can still transfer grandfather weapons. So I had to correct them. It's section 5.
Let's see.
Yeah, so I just wanted to put the right information out there.
Damn, bro. So like all the ones that are mentioned here is what they're trying to make illegal, like the
No, there's a bunch of exemptions on there.
Okay, so let me see.
For what purpose does a gentlewoman from New York wish
As
to
the
be
member
recognized?
designated by
Oh,
Mr.
I hate
Bush,
this.
I mean Ms. Bush and
what?
Mr. Bowman, I inform the House that these members will vote yes on the previous question.
See you next Tuesday.
I thought she was arrested.
That was all for show.
The big booty Latinx.
No, Frag Out Design Studios, who makes some badass designs. This is to begin the debate so they can vote today. My favorite big booty Latino. Hey man, she's your people, Sabar.
Bro, if she calls herself Latin X, she's not my people, bro. I don't know where they came up with Latin X. That thing is a facade. That's not real. I'm just an American, and bro, that's it. I'm no like I'm not gonna play into their pronoun games or their labels. That's some BS right there, bro. Damn, are you seeing the comments? They're saying that her mom should have done something else.
Yeah, I bet.
Breakfast burritos are a myth. No, breakfast burritos are true. Breakfast tacos are a myth. Who said that breakfast taco line? Was it Pelosi or somebody? Somebody had said something about as Mexican as breakfast tacos, and I'm like, what? I've never had a breakfast taco in my life. Oh, it was Mrs. Potato. Who's Mrs. Potato? Joe. Oh yeah, Joe Biden. There we go. Hey, your comment sections looks like Darks when he tells everybody to post about food.
For what purpose
Yeah.
the gentleman from
All right.
Colorado seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Williams, Ms. Moore, Mr. Caston, Ms. Bass, Mr. Evans, Ms. Sherflis McCormick, Ms. Strickland, Mr. Huffman, and Mr. Sablon, I inform the House that those members will vote yes on the previous question.
All right, we're almost there. And now the yays have it. Drug addict always vote yes.
Okay, so the exempted ones, those are the ones that trying to ban, right? John?
What's that?
The firearms exempted by the assault weapons ban, that means that
No, that's the one that they're not going to ban.
okay. Bro, they're banning the high point carbine?
For what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Babin of Texas, I inform the House that Mr. Babin will vote no on the previous question.
At a 5'9" M former, correct.
All right. So basically, the Republicans. Did I miss a super chat? Oh, I did. Sorry about that. The tree of liberty must be refreshed by the blood of patriots and tyrants. Good old TJ wrote that. You know who TJ is?
Nah, who's TJ?
Can I give you a hint?
Go ahead.
The number 3. He was the third person to be something.
Oh,
Third person to be something.
be something what? Come on, John. Tell
He
me.
was the third person to be something, man. Come on.
President?
Yes, he was the third person to be something. Who was the third president?
Thomas Jefferson.
Good job, and you read the chat. Yes, Thomas Jefferson said a lot of things. He also said that there should be a revolution every 30 years, but whatever.
I don't think he was bad with that revolution, bro.
Dude, TJ was like based as hell.
I need to learn more about Thomas Jefferson. I just learned a bunch about Benjamin Franklin because I got a tattoo of him on my chest.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin was a sex fiend.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin was an outlaw. That's why I got him tattooed on me because he actually was an actual outlaw.
Dude, he did some. He was like a wild man.
Yeah, he was, man.
He was a member of the Hellfire Club.
All I know about Thomas Jefferson is that he read a lot and he actually had a copy of the Quran.
He had a copy of the Bible and the
Yeah.
Quran and the Torah.
Yeah, he read a lot.
Yeah. He also took out the Barbary pirates.
Oh, he did?
CJ was the man.
Damn, I need to look more into him. I guess.
Yeah, and Birdman is exactly right. He did like dark chocolate. No, this is not past the Senate. I agree. As right now, who knows? Anything can change.
Bro, so I'm reading the list of the guns they want to ban, and this stuff is ridiculous, man. I feel for you guys. Like, it's
Yeah.
bad.
All of
really
it's already banned in California.
That's what I said. I feel for you guys.
Yeah.
It's bad, bro. They even want to ban the high point what is it called?
The high point carbine or
Yes, the carbine. They want to ban the high point carbine, bro. Like if they want to ban high point, that's a sign that it's all bad.
Yeah.
So this means that if you have it, does it stay grandpaed in? But if you want to buy it now, you can't anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, have you ever thought that maybe the two-way community is working with the government to say, "Hey, we're gonna ban all these guns," and then people go out and buy them, and then at the end, they both make money. Might that be possible?
I mean, I've heard people say that, but I don't think so.
Yeah, right. It shouldn't be about taking people's freedoms. That's very tyrannical. But anything goes with money, right?
Right.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Yeah, anything goes with money. This vote should be over. They only got 10 outstanding votes. There's no way the Republicans can beat it because the no's can only reach. Well, I mean, technically, yeah. Well, even if everyone outstanding votes for it, it would be 211 to 216, but it's going to be 220 to 211. I mean, 215 to 216, but it's going to end up being 220 to 211. So, guys, it looks like we will have an assault weapons ban vote today.
Damn, bro. I'm telling you guys, 3D printing is the future. Allegedly. Allegedly.
Yeah, California has some crazy laws, dude.
Yeah, we do, man. It takes 10. Look, I'm gonna tell you guys something. Allegedly, right? This is what I've heard from people. I don't know personally because I'm in California and I am a outstanding law-abiding citizen. But I've heard, well, I know for a fact in California it takes 10 days to buy a gun. When I've heard that you could print a lower Glock frame in 3 days. So tell me, 10 days to wait for a gun, 3 days to make your own. Yeah, 3 days.
Yeah, but you have the crazy stuff of precursor parts.
Yeah, but I mean, like a lot of those parts you could probably, they're easy to get.
unless are they gonna start making it legal to sell barrels and uppers?
Not that I know of,
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm sure that will come one day.
I mean, because the ban says it's talking about even threaded barrels, so I don't know if the you can't sell a weapon now that has a threaded barrel if it passes. Am I
Yeah,
right?
did you play nice? I will mod you. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I gotta get. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you that shirt out again. Sorry, I just totally dropped the ball on that. Um, but yeah, let me see here. DJ, what channel are you in? Oh, here you are.
Damn, Maverick, you're printing fast, bro. I like to print my stuff slow and nice. Allegedly, I mean, I don't print. I allegedly, yeah, I messed up.
Yeah, that's like one of my. That's on my main sound. My. I have like 64 things, and I keep like 8 up at a time.
Uh
I
huh.
can
And,
like
and
scroll
that
through
one's
them.
and that one's like your top.
It is my top.
Damn, thank you, man. Hey, bro, I was gonna tell you something. You're looking hella good lately, bro. Your face glows. Like, good job, bro.
Holy, what are you talking about?
Not in a sexual way, but in a man noticing another's man's glow, and saying, "Hey, man, you're glowing, man. Your skin looks amazing. What's your routine, John?" No, I'm being serious though, bro. Good job, man.
Wow.
Alexander, allegedly.
Yeah, the Capital switchboard is 202-224-3121. That's 202-224-3121. Even if you don't believe it's going to make a difference, just do it just to, you know, give their staffers a lot of work to do.
See, the problem is that a lot of us need to become Democrats, right? Even though we don't care, we're not, but we need to do it, and then we could mess them up from the inside. Didn't somebody get caught saying that about putting more Republicans in, but in reality, the Republicans were actually Democrats? I think I just
Yeah.
heard that. Somebody got caught for saying stuff like that.
Yeah.
A Democrat, I believe.
Yeah, right now, smoke AB, I agree. This should not pass the Senate, but I still would call your representatives to vote no right now. Not the Senate. Oh, well, you can call the Senate, but more representatives.
Shooting Gallery New England has a question, John.
They're voting on starting the debate, and after the debate, they will be able to vote on the assault weapons ban. So we should have the vote today.
So, is this true, John, that it was Ronald Reagan's fault that he signed the anti-gun bills?
He signed a bunch of anti-gun bills. He signed the Hughes Amendment.
What? But wasn't he like a cowboy? That's why people voted for him.
What? No, dude, he was not pro-gun at all, man. If you look at the Mumford laws in California, he's the one that signed it.
That's crazy because he's actually from Orange County, and Orange County is very red. Like super red.
Well, they were afraid of the black people in California.
Well, is that when all the Watts riots and stuff like that happened?
Yeah, yeah.
So he made a racist gun law to keep. I understand.
Black people from owning guns. The Black
Yeah,
Panthers,
yeah.
basically. Mumford law was
So he didn't want to desert to make black militias, I guess.
Exactamundo.
Damn, bro. That's how we need to start pushing the gun laws to the Democrats. We need to start telling them gun banning guns is racist
Well,
because
I mean, it is, and that's
yeah,
what people have been telling them. They just don't care because I think they're racist.
nah, bro. Once a California is never a Californian, bro. There's two types of Californians, and yeah, California is split in two. Um, not all Californians think the same. I don't care for Teslas. I think that's a scam. I actually got a visit from the power. What is it? Solar power guys yesterday, and they were kind of trying to explain everything, and it's all a sham, bro. It just I don't know. I think it just matters if you educate yourself, you actually read the Constitution, you actually try to look at your founding fathers, and you actually read shit that Thomas Paine wrote, and then you'll be a true American.
Yeah, the
Uh,
Thomas Paine was some base shit, man. He wrote some
yeah,
base stuff.
that dude's my hero. Him and Benjamin Franklin are probably like my top two real American dudes. Yeah, Cesar Chavez was a communist. That's why a lot of people in Southern California do not represent Cesar Chavez. We do not like his flag because it's red. We don't mess with it. Like you guys got to understand it's there a lot of Latinos got backed by the communist regime. That's what you guys are not understanding. So we didn't know anything better, right? A lot of the Latinos, especially in Mexico and Southern America, we were controlled by the Spaniard. As you could see, my skin color, um, I'm actually half and half. So I'm 50% European and 50% native to the Americas. But when all these, let's call them the Spanish, were took over Mexico, they took away a lot of the land and they were giving it to people of high power. Certain people took advantage of that and started the Mexican Revolution, which was actually Emiliano Zapata. Emiliano Zapata was really for the people. He didn't really care about capitalism. And then Pancho Villa came along, and Hollywood used Pancho Villa to make you guys think that all Mexicans take fiestas and smoke reefer and a rapist. So you guys got a lot of the TV stuff set to you, and that's what you believe. But a lot of the Mexicans now, we actually don't believe in communism. A lot of us have businesses. We pay taxes. We know what it is to struggle. My father came here to the U.S. with a high school education, and he was able to raise a family and buy a home. And we all just want that American dream. That's all it is. It doesn't matter. We don't believe in communism. Actually, if you guys don't even know this, Mexico, you're allowed to own a guns. Like Mexico has rights where you could own a 22 rifle, a hunting rifle, a shotgun, and a 9mm. The problem is that Mexico has only one gun store, and that's in Mexico City. There you go, guys. A little history by Base Sabar.
Hello. Hold on.
That was base of bar. He is a based Latino.
Latino,
I
not
sound like I smoked a lot and have cancer.
yeah, but shotgun Imperial is correct. Not all Californians are the same, just like not all New Yorkers are the same. I mean, look at Flying Rich. Flying Rich is a base New Yorker.
Flying Rich is in the house.
Yeah, he is.
What's up, Flying Rich? Swamp Dog is here too. Oh, he's going. Yeah, it's okay. So right now, they're waiting on the final votes. I'm not sure who the 6 Republicans are that have not voted yet. That doesn't matter.
Damn. Damn. Hey, did the guy from Tennessee already vote, John?
I don't know. No, I was just messing around with the audio things.
Okay.
No, somebody's asking the thing. So you got the megaphone.
Like the monster.
The pitch up.
I have no idea what this is.
Did you get a new soundboard?
I need to help my yeah, I did.
Yeah, I got the Rodecaster Pro 2.
Oh, the Pro 2's out. That's why you're selling the Pro 1, huh?
Well, I got Rich got it. Rich bought it.
That thing is amazing. Like I was between the Pro 1, but then I got something cheaper. But
I have
that
a
was
lot of static, Rich.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was me. Let me mute myself first and then let me check, all right? Because I thought it was me.
Hello?
Yeah, bro. It came when you started playing with the setting with the I have cancer allegedly because I smoke.
Oh. Hold on.
On this vote, the yeas are 216 and the nays are 205. The previous question is ordered. The question is on the adoption of the resolution. Those
Madam
in favor
Speaker.
say aye.
Madam Speaker,
Those
they're not going to do
opposed
it.
say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The gentleman from Pennsylvania.
He said he texted you, or what is the?
What the hell is going on
The
here?
yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will
Okay, something definitely
a
happened
sufficient
here.
number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device.
What?
This is a 5-minute vote.
C-SPAN
For
just
what purpose does the gentlewoman from Virginia seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Porter, I inform the House that
Hey,
Ms. Porter
somebody
will
get
vote
that
yes on
naked sex
HRES
leech shit out of here,
1300.
please.
For what purpose does the
Come on,
gentleman from
guys.
Michigan seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Rice of South Carolina, Mr. Katko of New York, and Mr.
Guys.
Gonzalez of Ohio, I inform the House that Mr.
Hey.
Rice, Gonzalez, and
Don't
Katko will
stand.
vote nay on the previous question.
Purpose does the gentlewoman
Wait,
from
this-
Michigan seek recognition?
As the member designated by Ms. Tlaib of Michigan, I inform the House that she will vote aye on H Resolution
I have no
1300.
idea what just
For
happened.
what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
It's done in. Speaker person is the member designated by Mr. John Carter of Texas, Mr. Tornado of Texas. I inform the House that they will
They
both
allow
vote
an
no on the rule.
For what purpose does the
Oh, they're
gentleman
just
from
replaying
Texas
the
seek
votes.
recognition?
Madam
okay,
Speaker,
okay.
as a member
Who cares?
designated Spear of California, and from the House that Ms. Spear will vote yes on the House Res 1300. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Arkansas seek recognition?
As a member, Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Stewart of Utah, I
They're
inform the House that
replaying
Mr.
all
Stewart
the
will
all
vote
the
no
voice
on
votes.
HRES 1300.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Virginia seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Byer of Virginia, I inform the House Mr. Byer will vote aye on HRES 1300.
He sounds like he's
What
from
purpose
like
does the gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition?
the Civil
Madam
War. era.
Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Jacobs of New York,
That dude's short.
Mr. Green of Tennessee, and Mr.
Bob.
Van Drew of New Jersey, I inform the House that Mr. Jacobs, Mr. Green, and Mr. Van Drew all will vote nay on the rule. Thank you.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Maryland seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Boyle, Mr. Ruppersberger, Ms. Trahan, Mr. McEachin, Ms. Newman, and Mr. Jones, I inform the House these members will vote yes on H.R. 1300.
For what purpose does the gentleman from South Carolina seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Joe Wilson from South Carolina and Byron Donalds from Florida, I inform the House that Mr. Donalds and Mr. Wilson will vote nay on the rule.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New York seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Representative Mr. Jeffrey of New York pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Representative Jeffries will vote yes on H.R. 1300.
What?
This is the gentleman from Ohio seek recognition.
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. LaHood of Illinois, I inform the House that Mr. LaHood will vote nay on the rule.
For what purpose does the gentleman
just
from
replaying
Georgia
all this.
seek recognition?
Okay.
Madam Speaker, as a member
Yeah, Madam-
designated by Ms. McBath of Georgia pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Ms. McBath will vote yes on H.Res. 1300.
You know, when
For
they
what
come up with a
purpose does
math
the
that they're
gentleman
going to
from
vote yes
Pennsylvania
for it.
seek recognition?
Damn, bro.
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Comer of Kentucky, Ms. Stefanik of New York, and Dr. Joyce of Pennsylvania, I inform that Mr. Comer, Ms. Stefanik, and Dr. Joyce will vote no on H.Res. 1300.
For
Okay,
what purpose
I got
does
a
the
kind of
gentleman from
this
Florida
conspiracy
seek
theory, right,
recognition?
Madam
son?
Speaker, as
That
member
that
designated by
I've
Mr.
been
Kristen
kind
Deutsch
of
of Florida
thinking
and Ms.
and
Rice of New
analyzing
York,
for
I
a bit,
inform the
right?
House that these members will vote yay on
And I have a
H.Res.
feeling that the
1300.
reason they're really trying to
What
push this
purpose
gun
does the
ban
gentleman
stuff
from
at
Georgia
this
seek
moment is
recognition?
because I
Madam
believe
Speaker, as a
China's behind
member
it.
designated by Mr.
Now, if
Taylor
you guys
from
don't
Texas, I
understand
inform the
why I
House that
say
Mr.
I
Taylor will
believe
vote no on
China
the
is
rule.
behind it is
For
because
what
China,
purpose does the
for the
gentleman
longest
from
time, has been
Colorado
joint
seek
hand in
recognition?
all
Madam
of
Speaker, as a
Central
member
America,
designated by Ms.
Mexico,
Diana
and now
DeGette of
and they've
Colorado,
been
Mr.
always
Mark
buying
Desanier of
advances of
California,
working
I inform the
bubble
House that
in
these
the
members
U.S.
will vote yes on
So
H.Res. 1300.
if the
For
Chinese
what
come over
purpose does the
here,
gentleman from Ohio seek
they don't want
Utah seek
the
recognition?
population to be
Madam Speaker, as member designated
carrying
by Mr.
or
Rara Butler
having
from
weapons,
Washington, I
right?
inform the
Because
House that
then
Mr. Rara Butler will
their
vote
plan
nay
will not
on the
work.
rule.
Let's just
For
blame
what
it
purpose
on
does the gentleman from California
allegedly.
seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as member designated by Congress members Cahaley, Mike Thompson, Andy
my
Levin,
lawyer's calling.
Bordeaux, Vargas, Swalwell, and Richie Torres, I inform the House that these members will vote yes on the H.Res. 1300.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Kentucky seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Guthrie from the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I inform the House that Mr. Guthrie will vote no on the rule.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New York seek recognition?
As the member designated by Ms. Bush and Mr. Bowman, I inform the House that these members will vote yes on H.Res. 1300.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Babin of Texas, I inform the House that Mr. Babin will vote no on the rule.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New Hampshire seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Ms. Stevens and Ms. Bustos, Mr. Blumenauer, and Mr. Ryan, I inform the House that these members will vote yes on H.Res. 1300.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Indiana seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Ms. Walorski and Ms. Sparks, both of Indiana, I inform the House that Ms. Walorski and Ms. Sparks will both vote no on the rule.
We're good over here. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Missouri seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. McHenry of North Carolina, I inform the House that Mr. McHenry will vote nay on the rule.
Purpose does the gentleman from Florida seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Dr. Gosar of Arizona, I inform the House that Dr. Gosar will vote no on H.Res. 1300.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Colorado seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Williams, Ms. Moore, Mr. Caston, Ms. Bass, Mr. Evans, Ms. Schifferlis McCormick, Ms. Strickland, and Mr. Huffman, I inform the House that those members will vote yes on H.Res. 1300.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New Jersey seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Eddie Bernice Johnson, Mr. Albio Series, Ms. Ann Kirkpatrick, Mr. Jerry McNerney, Ms. Pramila Jayapal,
Well, I don't
Mr.
know if you
Brian
guys can hear
Higgins,
me, but
inform
I don't
the
think
House that these
this
members
is
will vote
just
yes
in
on
order for it
H.Res.
to
1300.
pass so they could vote for it today. That's what they're trying to do. So pretty much I believe they are gonna vote for it today. That's why they were doing this. So the HR 1800 hasn't hasn't passed yet, but they're
This
gonna
vote on a
this vote
resolution
was
allowing
to make it
expedited
a
debate
vote.
on bills today. There's been quite a bit of reporting in the past couple of days on the assault weapons
Thank
ban
you,
and
Rich.
policing bill being delayed until mid-August, but it now may come up in the House today. Passing this resolution would allow that to happen.
There you guys heard it. Hit up Trump, DLD. Hit up Crumpy. For reals, bro. I mean, people might comply, but not everybody's gonna comply. I think you guys need to understand that laws are put in place for people that don't know better. But if you yourself actually work on yourself and you understand that, hey, I'm gonna keep to myself, I'm not gonna hurt anybody, I'm not gonna do anything dumb, you don't really need certain laws. I mean, allegedly, I'm not a lawyer, but just it all depends on your judgment and how well your morals are set. A lot of these laws are passed by people that have low morals or people that don't know better, and it's ignorance in reality. Allegedly. Do it, Rich. Do it. Live your best life. In theory, yeah, man. I would wait till everything smooths over, and I wouldn't sell that Glock 30, bro, to be honest. If there would have been one more six behind that, Rich, I would have said done it to do it, but it's up to you, bro. Craig Liquor, allegedly, right? Oh, el changuito, wait. I thought you were dead. Wait, didn't the cartel kill you, bro?
All right, sorry guys. That was dude, what the hell's up with all
Yeah, guys,
these
come on. The naked stuff, please. Look, Trump, it's that cartel monkey. He's come to bless us and protect us from the Democrats.
Hola,
Hola, changuito, ¿cómo estás? Yo soy
hola,
Diego.
me
Y
llamo Changuito.
changuito.
No me gusta,
Danny, you're exactly right.
no me gustan los políticos, mierda.
Changuito, ¿por qué te mató el cartel? Why were you
Ah,
murdered by the cartel? Were you trying to change the gun laws down in Mexico?
okay, look, fucker. I was wearing a vest, I said. Did you not see?
Yeah,
You not
so they
see? I
what?
cannot be killed.
Oh shit.
Okay, dígame, do you think that,
That changuito was working for
The
the
yeas are
18F?
218, the nays are
oh,
206. The resolution is agreed to. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
oh, ay, Dios mío.
The chair leaves before the House an enrolled bill.
H.R. 4346, an act making appropriations for the legislative branch for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2022, and for other purposes.
All right, guys. So
For what purpose does the gentleman from Tennessee seek
we
recognition?
will have a vote.
I hereby remove myself as a co-sponsor from H.R. 8167.
The gentleman's request is accepted. What purpose does the gentleman from Washington seek recognition?
Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that I may hereafter be considered to be the first sponsor of H.R. 783, a bill originally introduced by Representative Young of Alaska for the purposes of adding co-sponsors and requesting reprintings pursuant to Clause 7 of Rule 12.
Without objection.
So what you're saying right now that there's gonna,
Purpose does the
a bunch of
gentleman
people are
from New
gonna
York
say,
seek
you know,
recognition?
hey, we need
Madam
this.
Speaker, I ask for unanimous consent that the gentleman from North Carolina, Representative David Price, be removed from H.R. 7769, the Helicopter Safety and Noise Management Act. Thank you, and I yield back.
Without objection. The chair lays before the House a communication.
Yeah, this is all procedural
The Honorable
BS.
the Speaker, House of Representatives, Madam, pursuant to the permission granted in Clause 2H of Rule 2 of the Rules of the U.S. House of Representatives, the clerk received the following message from the Secretary of the Senate on July 28, 2022 at 5:13 p.m. that the Senate passed Senate 3369, that the Senate passed without amendment H.R. 7334, H.R.
So
7352.
this is just bills that
Signed
have
sincerely,
been passed.
Cheryl L. Johnson, Clerk.
So it's gonna be voted on today, right? Correct, John?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, not 100% that it will be, but it should be.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but that's no guarantee, right?
Pursuant to House Resolution 1254 and Rule 18, the chair declares that the House in the Committee of the Whole
Yeah,
on the
pump
State of
stocks
the
will be
Union for
banned from this.
consideration of H.R.
A lot of
5118.
stuff. It's
The chair
insane.
appoints the
It's gonna be
gentlewoman
banned.
from Nevada,
I can't believe it.
Miss Lee, to
I mean, I
preside
can. I
over
live
the
in
Committee
California.
of the Whole.
So what's up, Dark?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Chilling, man. Chilling, just trying to inform people. Just I do these so people can learn about the different. A lot of people never watch anything in Congress, have no idea what happens in Congress.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
honestly, I'll
like
tell you, like,
procedures.
I've learned a lot from. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a little bit of a delay. I'm just real quick.
The
I mean,
House is in the
I've
Committee of the
learned
Whole
more
House
from
on the State of the
watching
Union for the
you and learning
consideration of
about the entire
H.R.
system for legislation
5118, which
than
the
I did
clerk
when I was
will
in high school.
report by title.
A bill to direct the Secretary of Agriculture to prioritize the completion of the Continental Divide National Scenic Trail and for other purposes.
Roll, the bill is considered read the first time. General debate shall be confined to the bill and amendments specified in House Resolution 1254 and shall not exceed 1 hour, equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking member of the Committee on Natural Resources or their respective designees. The gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Neguse, and the gentleman from Arkansas, Mr. Westerman, each will control 30 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Colorado.
All right, guys.
Oh, shout out to Zero
Consent that all
Fucks,
members
man.
may have
That dude's
legislative days in
a
which to
straight up
revise and
G.
extend their
Yeah,
remarks
that's the
and to insert
homie right
extraneous
there.
material on HR
Yeah, man.
5118.
His nylon
That
prints are on
request
point.
cannot be entertained
On
in the
point.
committee of the whole.
All right, Madam Chair, I thank the chair for her courtesy, and I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Rich, you already got enough of those
I
5
rise in
7s,
support
man.
of
Get
HR
something else.
5118, the
All
Wildfire
right,
Response
all right,
and
guys.
Drought
So they're
Resiliency
going to
Act.
debate the drought and
legislation represents another
wildfire
major
fires
effort
in the
to act on
United
climate
in the
by
Western.
responding and
This is going to
representing
take at
wildfires
least
and
an
drought
hour, so I'm
that
going
are
to end the
impacting
stream. I
communities
might
across our
start
country.
back up
I represent Colorado's 2nd Congressional District, and it was barely over 6
they go
months ago
to
in
debate.
December
I'll
when the
be
Marshall
watching for
Fire
that,
burned through Boulder
but I don't
County
want to keep
and
you
became
guys
the most
on
destructive
here.
fire in Colorado history. The
Word.
fire destroyed a 30-acre
Um,
subdivision.
Keep
in
you
a
guys
matter of
on here
hours.
to listen
Nearly
about
200 homes burned to the ground and
wildfires
caused over $1 billion
and
in
everything else
damages.
because there's
This
nothing to
comes
do.
on the heels of my district experiencing the
But I
first
want to
and
thank
second
everyone
largest
for watching. I
wildfires
want to
in
thank
the history
Sabar
of
for hanging
Colorado,
out with me. I want
Mariner,
to
and
thank
Grand
Dark
counties
for
in
hanging out with me
2020,
for a
and
little
as
bit.
part of the Western United
And he
States,
stole
Yeah.
my damn
is
shirt.
currently experiencing
I know,
the
man. Can you
driest
believe it?
condition-
We're wearing the same shirt.
drought conditions
Damn.
over thousands
I was
of
gonna
years.
wear
Not
that.
playing.
5 of
Fires
them.
have become the primary occupation of
Winning.
Yes,
so
so do
many of
I.
our offices. Countless
Yeah.
constituents come to us grieving the loss of their
Are
homes,
you
but also
going
seeking
to
the resources
IV
that they deserve
88
from the
shoot?
federal government.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
a
I'll be
duty
going
to
there.
provide our
All right,
constituents
nice.
with the support that they need
Yep.
to
So I
rebuild
think we should
and recover.
probably
The
all throw
reality
down
is
on
that
a
we are
house
living with
as
a new
opposed
normal
to.
as climate change results in a hotter,
already
That's
got
right.
it.
drier
You already.
planet
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
historic
Yeah. I
drought
haven't set
and
anything up
record-setting
for.
wildfires
How
are
much
not
are the
only a
houses down there?
possibility, but an
I don't
inevitability.
even know. I was
Wildfires no
just
longer
gonna.
occur in a season,
I was just gonna
but
buy
throughout the entire year.
another property
I'm
just to keep
grateful to
out
my
there for once
colleagues,
a year
to
when I
Chairman
go out to the
Grijalva, Chairman
IV88
Scott,
shoot.
Chairwoman Maloney,
Might be a good
Chairwoman
idea.
Johnson,
All right, let me do that.
Chairwoman DeFazio, Chairman
Yeah.
Pallone, Chairman
Find me
Nadler,
something to buy.
Chairwoman
Just joking.
Velasquez, Chairwoman
All
Waters,
right, I gotta
Chairwoman
run. Check
Lofton,
me out.
and House
DLD after
leadership for
dark.
helping bring
Love
this
y'all.
package to the floor.
Take care,
All
This
right.
is exactly
See you guys.
the kind
Thank
of
you so
response that
much.
our
And with
constituents
that, we
desperately
are
want to
out of
see
here.
from the
I love you
Congress.
all very
HR
much.
5118
And
provides a whole of government response to the droughts and the wildfires
thank you,
impacting
Sabar.
American
Tell everyone
communities
where they can find you,
across the
Sabar.
country, and it
Thanks,
combines
The
more
bar
than
print.
50 standalone pieces
Bar
of
prints
legislation
2A,
originating from 9 different
YouTube,
House committees,
Twitter,
including Republican and
and
Democratic
remember,
bills.
guys,
We
we
began this
are the
important work
roast.
last year, as my colleagues know, working with President
Every
Biden to
Friday,
pass the
the roast.
Infrastructure Investment and Jobs
You
Act,
guys
which
are
included
listening.
historic
Listen clearly.
investments to reduce
Not
wildfire
the
risk,
pre-roast.
improve
The
ecosystem
roast.
resilience, and ensure
Every Friday,
reliable water
4:30 p.m.
supplies.
Pacific
The
Standard Time,
Wildfire Response and Drought Resiliency
7:30
Act
p.m.
builds
Eastern
on
Time.
those
Tune in.
investments. It provides an increased starting wage for our brave and courageous federal wildland firefighters. It invests in water security
All right.
and in drought resilience
All right, John,
and
take care.
advancing
Gotta go.
wildfire
You come back
science.
up,
As
tag me
climate
so I
change
can
induced
repost your
drought
stuff,
means
and
long term
then
reductions in rain and
watch.
snow and
Be safe, bro.
necessary water supplies,
See ya.
this legislation invests in
Thank
drought
you, guys.
proof water
The base
projects like water
Mexican
recycling,
is now
modern
out.
desalination, advancing water
Literally.
data management
All
and
right, see ya.
technology, protecting and restoring ecosystems. The bill also advances projects to deliver
See you guys.
reliable
Thanks.
water across